They turned out to be completely unreliable assholes.
Hey, Tim.
Hello, Ryan.
Yeah, we're talking about sharks today.
We are. So welcome to another episode of Dismembering Horror.
With the horror hounds of Hollywood. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Tim. Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, man, we're talking sharks.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of shark movies. And this one is supposed to be toward the top of the pile as far as ones that aren't terrible. And I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty true.
No, I can't say that I know a lot about a lot of shark movies, but I know that there are a lot of shark movies that I don't want to know about because they're real bad.
Yep.
And this was watchable.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Yeah. My recommendation is, if we want to. We want to do the rating before the summary, or we have it summary first. Let's do summary.
Summary. So the movie, of course, is 47 meters down.
It's like you're going to the zoo, except you're in the cage.
I don't know about this.
Welcome aboard.
There! Look! It's huge.
Remember, the faster you breathe, the faster you use up your air. Trust me, once you're down there, you're not going to want to come back up.
This is amazing.
It kind of takes your breath away. Oh my god.
Like the biggest shark.
Can you take a picture of me? Sorry. We would like to come back up now.
I'm bringing you back up.
Oh my god.
I think I might have said 47 meters below last week, but whatever. It's the same. Below and down are the same in my book. They're not really, but so 47 meters down is a charming romantic movie about Kate and Lisa,
two sisters
who are in Mexico, and they are trying to have fun. And Lisa is bummed out because Stuart, her husband or boyfriend, it's sort of unclear. I guess it's their boyfriend.
Yeah, broke up with.
Right.
That sounded boyfriend connotations.
Yeah. So she reveals early on that he's broken up with her, and that's why she invited her sister on this trip instead of him, or why he can't be there. And then because they want to be crazy and wild, adventurous girls who want to go get over Stuart, Kate, the adventurous one, says we're going to go scuba diving with sharks. And Mandy Moore, who plays Lisa, says that's a terrible idea. And guess what? She's fucking right. It is a terrible idea. Don't go scuba shark diving in Mexico,
but only because it went wrong.
With Matthew Modine as your captain.
Well, he asked if they had gone scuba diving before, and they said no. That had nothing to do with what went wrong.
Well,
that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, antics ensue, as you can imagine. They go.
Two girls are on vacation and they get trapped underwater, and they're sharks. Great white sharks.
I'm not gonna lie, it's Matthew Modine's fault. He plays the captain of the shark boat, and the shark boat's shit, and it falls apart.
He did seem pretty apathetic towards the whole.
Yeah,
just his whole job.
Do you think that was the character, or just Matthew Modine was real apathetic about being in this movie?
Probably came through. Yeah, it was probably both.
I love Matthew Modine. I'm not gonna say he's good, but I have a real soft spot for him.
Yeah. Shout out worthy for sure. Well, I have a soft spot for Mandy Moore, so I was excited to watch this one.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah. How about what would you suggest to people? Or I guess would you suggest to another version of yourself to rent it, or
no? I don't
just stream it.
I just don't. Yeah, it's not good enough to spend money on. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's flat out bad, because it's not. It's watchable, but
It's like
even if it was like $2.99.
Yeah. $3.99 is the iTunes HD rental.
So I might have to. I would pay $2.99 to get this in standard definition, so that the weird blue thing that we'll talk about maybe wasn't so bad.
I was wondering,
or noticeable.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I can't do it. I stream it. Just stream it. It's on Netflix. Just stream it. Don't rent it.
Yeah.
Don't pay money.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's hard because it's on Netflix. So I know it's like, yeah, just stream it. It's worth streaming because it's like it delivers exactly. It's the promise of the premise. It delivers.
This is very
It's
true.
like if okay, I want to see two girls escape or try to escape this situation, and they're sharks, and the sharks actually look cool.
And if you're gonna go down using sort of a Blake Snyder terminology, I would also add in Blake's. I'll use some more Blake Snyder terminology as we go along. Insofar as like, I think this movie really, really strictly follows his beat sheet. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was purposeful, but I think it probably was.
Probably. Well, yeah, I guess so. We'd say stream it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You can watch it though. I wouldn't say don't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I almost want to say
I had fun with it.
Right. I had fun with it too. We had fun. You were doing your whole like thing.
Yeah, I know.
When the sharks came out.
Well, part of the issue with this is that I think in episode 2 I mentioned this, like drowning, being underwater, not being able to touch the water. Irrational fear of a sea monster or something coming up from underneath me in water. That's a major fear of mine. And this actually does quite a good job of poking that fear.
Well, then,
for me at least.
This should be a good segue to what worked for us.
Yeah. So that definitely worked for me.
What worked for you? What worked for you? What worked for you?
It worked like a charm.
What worked for you?
Can you say it again? What was what were you saying worked for you? Just the fear of being underwater and...
Yeah, I think this movie is really, really effective. Maybe let's erase one of those reallys. It's really effective at sort of getting you in that mindset of, I'm in the water, I'm totally vulnerable, there are definitely sharks, and it gets your heart rate going a little bit.
Especially that one scene I loved where, I'm going to say where she's like stuck in the middle of like what's a sort of an underwater cliff area, and she's on a precipice within that, and she gets turned around and doesn't know which way to swim back. And it's just really effective when you have those POV shots and you're just looking at ocean and that disorienting fear.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most effective moments in this movie. Mm-hmm. Even the lead up to it, they kind of prime the pump because she's out in open water, like going along the bottom of the ocean or the ocean floor to avoid getting eaten
47
by a shark.
meters down.
And you've got a couple nice jump scares with the shark that I actually will talk about in things that didn't work. But she gets to this point where she reaches a underwater cliff, and then there's just an abyss of darkness under her that she has to swim across to get to this flashlight.
Right after it's been established, like the sharks come from below.
Right, exactly. And I'll tell you what, that is immediately evocative for me. Like I felt terror of, 'cause I don't know, like I'm thinking, would I, this is a sign of a really effective storytelling. If I'm watching it and going, how would I do in this situation? You've got me.
Yeah.
I'm in. And I really thought to myself, there's no fucking way I would swim across that abyss.
Don't send him out.
There's no way. My sister would die. I would probably die too. But this idea of swimming over a, who knows, bottomless abyss in open water, it's not happening.
So you were saying you would not have done this shark cage thing at all in real life?
Fuck no.
Would you skydive before doing this?
Ooh.
Or even bungee jump?
God, I guess I'm not that adventurous.
Yeah.
Oh, which we should we left out of the summary. Lisa's flaw is that she's boring.
That's so lame. Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
wait, anyway, so skydiving,
I wouldn't skydive. You'd
you'd bungee before skydive?
I'd probably skydive maybe before bungee. I don't know. They're pretty comparable to me. But I mean, I would honestly, I want to do the shark cage thing, and that's why I asked that, because
I'm sure.
Because don't you want to see those? Don't you want to see a great white shark in person?
Nope. No. Sure, from a boat.
Yeah.
That's
I know. I should be fine with just from a boat, but it's like, I don't know. Let's look up the statistics on, of what could happen and what happened in this film. I don't think it's that high.
Wait, are you actually trying to say that you don't think this movie is realistic?
We're talking about things that worked. I thought it was surprisingly realistic.
Yeah, I think for the most
making
part.
Us just buy into the suspense moments.
Yeah.
And as I said, something else, I liked the effects of the sharks that didn't look digital. They didn't look like CG sharks, like in any obvious way.
Yeah.
Them in shot with the sharks were cool. What was realistic that I liked, I thought that the sharks were a good size where you're like, oh, these are big sharks, but they weren't like monster, ridiculous sharks.
No, for sure.
And even that sort of, and then Matthew Modine was like, I've seen him even bigger, just like, okay, it's, you had some sort of grounding in that sense.
Right, and there's a little bit of a payoff in the end for that commentary. Mm-hmm. We'll get there. What else you have?
The shark action, I said I liked how it looked, but I also just liked the pacing of it. I thought there was the shark biting or eating the camera when they dropped it.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first sort of like, oh my God, it's a shark,
Yeah.
And that happened at just the right time where I felt it like almost coming earlier. When you're waiting for it earlier, it would have been too early.
Sure.
And if it didn't happen right around then, it would have been too late. So
yeah, so when they get onto the cage, both times, first the two guys that they meet that sort of suggest this as a adventure in the first place, those two guys get in the cage first, and I'm thinking to myself, like, here it comes. Like, one of them is going to be about to, because you lower the cage just to the surface of the water, and you're standing with basically your feet in the water, and then you have to dip down into the cage, right? And I'm thinking, oh man, a shark's just going to pop right up and snag one of them as they're sitting down to get into the cage.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen, which is smart, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to get us thinking, oh shit, here it comes, and then, hold off.
And you can imagine, if it did happen, then the movie instantly would have felt kind of lamer. Like, all right, okay, the movie, we're in this now, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, I mean, it came at the right time.
Yeah, I agree. There's other likes of yours?
I mean, it's specific standout moments for me. The one that we already talked about in the middle of the chasm. But I liked...
you just made my heart rate go up.
The chasm.
I just thought about it again.
Yeah, you're reading the Lovecraft stuff right now. I think that ties to like your fears here. The unfathomably large unknown.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, it was another non-shark moment that I thought was one of the other strongest moments in it, which was right after the cage crashes down for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it was Mandy Moore. I actually forget which one it was or couldn't tell. It's Mandy Moore coming to. But it's a long take.
Oh, yeah.
A shot that lasts longer. Yep. Yeah. On Mandy Moore, on Lisa. unconscious and sort of coming to, and like there's the water building in her scuba diving breather mask, and there's some blood mixed in there from something. But just the way that it actually went for holding on her, it felt like an actual authentic, like, good movie moment amongst a movie that was otherwise pretty safe and uninteresting.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I think that's just it, right? Like in movies like this where specifically in movies where you're trapped underwater, making the most of the fear of not being able to breathe or the risk of not being able to breathe, and finding effective ways of showing us that is it's sort of your bread and butter, right? It's like, that's your gold for this type of movie. And that one was good. I mean, you're thinking, did you have this feeling throughout where I'm like, well, I know they're not going to die now because they're the only two characters.
Too soon to die, yeah.
And I kept kind of being a little annoyed with myself for having that thought because it's a bit of a distracting thought.
I don't know. I thought it was on the level, or if it's a common enough thing in movies, actually thanks to Deep Blue Sea, and another classic shark film, where, it's a different film with a bigger cast and stuff, but I could have bought, like, one of the two girls is dying, like, within the first, like, within the first half, even, like, the first third through, and have that be enacting, and have it be that sort of more, like, 127 hours survival thing. Like, it could have been this, and it would have had a fun
There was
twist.
A moment when I wondered if that was where we were going to go. But I was glad we didn't. I liked having more than just one person die.
Right, and the fact that they were sisters, too, it would have felt a little cheap if one of them had died.
Right.
So, unless you're really working it to make the moment hit really hard, if one of them had died at the beginning, like, what the Mandy Moore just died?
Right.
Like, oh my God.
You'd have a Steven Seagal, Kurt Russell. Do you remember this movie? This is such a ridiculous tangent. I don't even remember what it was called, but there's this movie where Steven Seagal, it's like, it was so at the time promoted as like a big action movie with Steven Seagal and Kurt Russell.
What was it?
I can't remember what it's called. And in the literal first scene, Steven Seagal dies. I think it's Steven Seagal who dies. One of them dies. And that's it. Like, then you just go for the rest of the movie. I have zero recollection of what the rest of that movie is.
Was it a shark attack?
No, it's on a plane. I don't know what it's called.
That doesn't rule out it being a shark attack. I liked... Oh, yeah, this was something I liked about it overall, was that... it stayed with their perspective, like, of the girls trapped down there, rather than, like, cutting back up to the dudes on the boat.
Yeah. You know why that is? I'm going to tell you why they did it that way. Because Matthew Modine refused to shoot more than one scene.
Right. It also it could have been a good decision, too. Like, I don't care what those guys are doing. It only adds more suspense to not know what they're doing.
Executive Decision, by the way, is the name of that film with Steven Seagal and Kurt Russell.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
it's
remember
horrible.
that. Yeah, I like the two leads in it were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Practical effects, I talked about there was those effective, like, wound. Not only the wound effects good, but, like, the insert shots of just, oh my God, someone's getting torn up, and then you just see leg with...
Totally.
Teeth tearing.
Yeah, I like that. That made me hoot.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
I don't know. I'd be set to talk about things that weren't working. How about you?
Oh, I've got a ton of things that I liked.
Oh,
but they're all real simple. And half of them, if not more, are kind of technical things. So in one of the opening scenes, it's right at the moment when the two Mexican dudes are bringing up the shark diving as a thing to do, as an option. So it's sort of the catalyst moment. Mm-hmm. They hang some red lights in the foreground of camera. And so traditionally, red and red lighting is the signal for danger stuff. And I just kind of appreciated, whether or not this is intentional, that they hung these two little, like, they're blown out, right? They're orbs in the foreground right on top of the dude who's saying, yeah, it'll be so great, it'll be so fun, we'll go swim with the sharks. And I'm like, yeah, I see what you're doing there. That's cool. Before when we get into the things that didn't work, there's a whole issue that I mentioned about this color blue thing. Prior to that happening, I was admiring the fact that I really liked the coloring of this movie. And like, even when they dropped the chum into the water, like, it was really vibrant red and it looked really good. I was like, oh,
yeah,
cool,
it was
man.
one of those digital look films that felt like it was intentional, you know,
Right.
or it used it well.
Like you said, I thought the acting was solid. Mandy Moore, you know, I don't really have anything to. I'm sure I've seen her and stuff. I know who she is, but she's good.
Yeah.
The sister is good too. Matthew Modine got his paycheck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really like fun, nice camera angles in this. There's one in particular that I think helped this sort of the vibe of feeling like, you know, there's danger to come. It's a shot when they're walking on the dock to get onto the boat. It's from the water, and it's a tracking shot, but it's got a little bob to it. And so it feels like kind of, I got this feeling like, oh, there's a shark just sort of watching them. You know, it had almost slasher like vibe to it, like slasher POV vibe, where you're like,
Was this that longer shot when they're walking from like the front of the dock to the end of the dock? I liked that shot. Yeah.
It stuck out. That's good. And then there's one other thing. These almost all of these things are directorial. There is a moment when Matthew Modine is saying, he's like helping Mandy Moore get her stuff together, and he's sort of telling her to calm down and, you know, regulate her breathing, whatever, and everything. The line, the 180 line, which this I guess we could explain, but I don't think people need look it up. There's a 180 degree rule. The line is on one side of them for this entire conversation, and then it flips to what traditionally you shouldn't do, theoretically, to the total opposite side on Modine's line of "you can trust me," and I was like, okay, cool, like that's good work. You know, like it doesn't necessarily add anything, especially to the casual viewer. But maybe psychologically it does.
That's why you do it. It's for that
cool.
little bit of unease it adds.
Yeah. So that's basically it. I like this movie. I mean, not terribly, but I had fun with it.
Yeah. No, me too.
Let's do some stuff that didn't work.
It's not ready yet.
Seems to work okay.
No, something important's missing.
What did not work?
You want to go first?
Yes. I did not like the twist. Do you know what I mean when I said the twist?
Yep.
Which was, we're hoping that you just watched it with us here, which was that she was actually hallucinating the rescue of her and her sister.
Yeah.
Like, I know, and I thought this was a good lead-in, actually, of when I said I liked some of the gore effects of, like, biting the legs and stuff toward the end.
Yeah.
But then it was just felt like that cop-out of it was just a dream of, like, okay, well, that was such a fun, enticing escape.
Yeah.
Why, like... And yeah, fun escape, and then the gore effects were good on it. It's like, why not just have that be it then? Because all the twist did was, like, she still got rescued. It just left it so what happened with the sister was ambiguous. Like, maybe she's dead. We should assume she probably is. But, like, it didn't add a lot of extra time at all. So it's like, why not just have it be the ending that it was leading up to? I was ready for the movie to be over then, and I was like, oh great, this is a perfect fun ending. Like, they made it with some pretty intense, final battle scars. Coast Guard showed up, and also, not to mention that Lisa was actually, like, being really proactive and finally doing the thing, and, like, I'm figuring out cool ways to get her leg from out underneath.
She got, like, real unboring.
Yeah.
And, like, good job, like, character arc, and then turns out, nah, she's still boring.
Right.
She just hallucinated the whole thing.
If it was supposed to be like it was some sort of really like just sort of give us that sinking, like dire feeling of, they're still trapped, which has been done in other films effectively. It didn't fully go that way. It was just like, but she's still getting rescued and it's fine. We just decided just to make that fake for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest failings, and this is to this, what you're talking about of this movie, is that there is a ton of hand-holding in this movie for the audience. So basically, anything that could go wrong is explicitly pointed out beforehand and said, just so you know, if you swim too fast, you'll get the bends. Just so you know, like, I don't know what some other good examples are, but it's too, the nitrogen thing, it's going to give you hallucinations, right? Like, it's too on the nose of like, we got to explain this to the audience. That's
why I was saying the safe and uninteresting, too movie-y.
Did you notice that there is 0 swearing in this movie?
I didn't notice.
0. I didn't even hear a shit.
You think they would have when the cage had been falling?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I would have dropped a lot of bombs of a wide variety.
Right, but if you're under 13 years old, you shouldn't hear those words.
Okay. But you have. I know. I don't know. I mean, who cares if you swear or not in this movie? But it's just, it speaks to a bigger issue, I think. Of what you're saying, the playing it safe.
Yeah. I know. Were there other things that were that for you? Other moments? Or was this like, this is too... I mean, I can say I didn't... Oh, yeah. What?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple interesting notes here. I think, first and foremost, there's a couple just sort of plot holy type things that it just made me like scratch my head. They're not quite continuity things. They're just things that make me go, yeah, but what is there an explanation for this, or we just give it up? So they have these full mask scuba things. Obviously, you want that in a movie like this, so they can talk to each other and we can see them like emoting and whatever, and that's great. Except they can hear each other, but their ears are in the water. The mask doesn't cover their ears. And neither of them have earpieces.
I thought that earpieces were built into the mask.
I just assumed that too. And then at one point I looked and was like, oh, wait.
Well, without actually knowing how the technology could work, I don't want to take any sides.
I agree. It's possible that maybe if the speaker's in the mask and it's up against your or your temple or something, that you can hear it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't, like, somebody look it up and tweet us. But it's still just one of those little things that, like, it's a dodge, right? They're like, well, we don't want to... We've explained everything else, but we want to explain this. So I'm okay with you not explaining it, but also, like, meh.
They should have been more that way for other things if it was the direction it was going.
Exactly. Yeah. There's another one like that. I don't know. I mean, you said you thought the shark CGI was good. I think it was 90% of the time. But there's some sweepy sharky stuff that it's like, no, I don't know. It just didn't work for me. And the probably the biggest jump scare is a moment when Mandy Moore it's right before she gets to the cliff. She's getting chased by a shark. She gets into sort of a cave type situation. She's under some rocks or coral, and she's huddled in there, and the shark nose comes through a hole that we have not established is there, but it's like right next to her shoulder.
Yeah.
And it shoots in there. It's comical to me. Like, it just looked goofy. It shoots into that hole like, I don't know, like you were sticking your finger in the hole.
I like that one.
It felt wonky to me. I thought it was funny.
That one was on par with, like, I don't know, it worked the same way the other moments like that did for me. Blah.
Yeah. There's some ADR. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of ADR in a movie like this. I got used to it and it ceased to be an issue, but early on, it just was distracting to me. ADR meaning that they recorded the
Water
vocal afterwards.
filming, ocean filming,
Yeah.
bad sound.
And yeah, that's basically it. Okay, except there's a story thing that I want to mention.
I wonder if it's what I have.
Okay, there's the moment when Kate has been presumably eaten or killed by a shark.
Yeah.
And then Mandy Moore is left by herself,
Yeah.
and she's trapped under the cage. And this is, like I was going to say, in the Blake Snyder beat sheet, this is sort of your all is lost moment followed by your dark night of the soul moment.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like, you've hit bottom, and then you, in the dark, that's it, the all is lost. And, you know, somebody usually dies at the all is lost. And then in the dark night of the soul, it's the moment for the main character to kind of dig deep and, like, figure it out. And oftentimes what you see is them contemplate death. Right? Either they contemplate suicide or they give up and then they rally their gusto and they figure it out. And I felt like this had the opportunity to have her actually just say, fuck it. Like, I'm going to die down here. And they did the opposite. Because I think it would have been more compelling to see her kind of give up. Mm-hmm. In that moment and just give in. Like, she's fucked at that moment.
Yeah, and nor was that really ever a moment of like that whole bring them to the absolute lowest low of thinking they're actually
she just was like, I'm not gonna die down here. And I'm like, well, I want to see you overcome that.
Yeah,
I want to see you get to I'm not gonna die down here, not just believe it inherently throughout. Because it's just more compelling to me from a storytelling point of view to see you get beaten the fuck down to a point where you're like, all right, you know what? I might as well actually die. And then have some compelling reason for you to go, you know what? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to fight that urge to die. That's exciting. That's survival. And it just never really happened. And then it's a total punt when you find out that her coming out of that and saying I'm not going to die is a fucking hallucination.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating.
Which I don't know. I mean, that was kind of a stretch too for what hallucinating can be. It felt like.
Yeah, it goes a little beyond hallucinating and into full-fledged like just dream.
Yeah. It was weird. I mean, I didn't like that her motivation was just to make Stuart jealous.
Oh god.
That I thought like it could have been. I liked the setup that like she was just broken up with and now she's there and that, but that just every sort of bit of motivation like to get her to do the shark thing was like, but don't you want to make Stuart jealous? Like, don't you want to do pictures? And like, I liked how she admitted at the beginning how it's kind of like, I know it's a stupid idea, like with that tone of like to make someone jealous and kind of saying, okay, it's, what are stupid. But then they kept stretching that if that was the actual reason. Like it could have been more she was genuinely, just generally getting over it or doing something actually for herself.
Right.
Versus having to be in the context of
a man.
Yeah. Stuart, nonetheless.
I agree. Yeah, it's a little...
Yeah, and then I already said, kind of safe and uninteresting, and that sort of, I don't know, slick budget feel to it, which we can work. It's a slick budget feel for the babysitter.
Do we? Oh, yeah, right.
know?
No kidding.
But this
do we know how much this cost?
I don't know. I know it grossed a lot because it was a big hit for the summer.
It was a $5.5 million, and it grossed 61.
Great.
Good job, guys. You did it. You made your money back.
Anything else that wasn't working? I have a few things of note.
Yeah, I'm sort of hanging on to your last one. It's sort of the, to make her character compelling, you give her this flaw, right? She got broken up with because she's boring. And then they kind of double down a little bit on that when the sister and her have this moment where she's like, what did you mean when you said, like something about, the only thing I have going for me is my relationship. Mm-hmm. And the sister Kate is asking Lisa this, why she said that. And Lisa's response is like, well, you're fun and adventurous and, you know, you're always doing all these exciting things. And I don't do any of that. I'm boring. And Stuart told me I'm boring. And he broke up with me because I'm boring. And, you know, I've always been competing with you being cool and fun and exciting. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are we talking? That's your problem?
Yeah.
That's it? Ugh. Gross. Like, that's so fucking two-dimensional. Like, it makes me just instantly go, a dude wrote this, he's never had a girlfriend, or I don't know, like, he just doesn't get that women have more going for them than a fucking boyfriend. It just bugged me.
I mean, it was
It's so
par for the
surface.
course.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it is. You're right.
With this,
I
film.
shouldn't be mad at it, but
no, you should
does,
be.
It irks me.
You absolutely should be, and we should all be. All these things that we said didn't work for us.
Yeah.
But that's why we're saying them.
You know, I still had some fun with it.
Right. Okay. Anything else? I mean, that weird visual thing. So when we were watching it, we're kind of curious if anyone else experienced this, because this may have just been your TV, too.
I wondered, but
I've
I've never seen it before.
the intense blue of the sort of inside and outside straps and plastic of Claire Holt's mask, Kate's mask, had this like digital artifacting to it. It was.
I think they just fucked up. I think it was something they couldn't solve in post.
I don't know. I could see
it's a real. It
could be a weird textural thing, but it's so hard to imagine that being in theaters when you're watching it. Just something about a projection.
Maybe, yeah.
Like I really think like it could be something about just this unique pattern of how it was shot, but that I feel like it could all spin the TV. So.
Whatever it is, I kind of want to do some research and figure out what it is, because I don't ever want to film something and have that happen. It is so distracting and just shitty looking. It, for all of the things that I liked about the look of this movie, that completely ruined.
I feel like we're
the whole
saying
thing.
this, and anyone who's listening to this is probably like, "What? I didn't see that at all."
I hope so. I hope so, honestly, because it fucking sucked.
So we'll take some pictures. All right. How about that's it for that?
Yeah, that's it.
Things of note!
This should be interesting.
So things of note.
Yeah.
Well, we saw Matthew Modine was in it, who is another
no doubt
another Kubrick actor. So
I really
had 2 in a row for that, or 3 in a row for that. I think.
I really like Matthew Modine. Mm-hmm. I really like him.
What do you like about him?
I don't know. I think it's because when I was when I was in middle school and high school, I wrestled, and like this is like high school wrestling, right? You know, like Olympic wrestling, kind of, not WWF. I'm so dating myself. It's not even the WWF anymore. It's WWE. The only movie out there about wrestling was called Vision Quest, and it's a Matthew Modine movie about high school wrestling, and it's not good, but it's awesome. It's so awesome. When you're like, it's like when anytime you have that niche love of something, and there's nothing out there for you, and you find the one thing. It was so, probably now it's too precious, but it was so precious at the time for me. It was like, fucking Vision Quest, baby.
Vision Quest. Cool.
And he wins. He beats Shoop, who's this big dude, which kind of doesn't make sense because there's weight classes.
What do you like about Matthew Modine in it, though?
I don't know. He's charming.
It's just the association with
the
film.
He's charming, and he's being a wrestler, and he you know, he's convincing.
I kept getting a kick in this film how they kept saying the Bens.
I know.
The Bens. Which
is a weird term.
Yeah, it's just one of those things when you hear a term where it's like people, where you feel like you're the only one who hasn't really heard it as much. So then when everyone's just like, oh yeah, the Bens. Oh yeah, you know, you get the Bens. And it sort of sounds... I don't know. It sounds incongruous with what actually happens. Like I just picture like the bends, their bones start bending.
Right, right. I always think of like bending over, like it doubles you over. I have no, like, I don't think that
but it's
is what it is at all.
oxygen entering your brain,
Like nitrogen bubbles, because your oxygen is like
bubbles in the brain.
something.
That's the bends. Watch
Yeah,
out, folks.
don't do it.
Because this was a horror film, even more so about getting the bends.
But a great Radiohead song, so go listen to that.
Was it about the bends?
I have no clue if that's what it's about, but it's called The Bends.
I liked when we were watching it. This was noteworthy to me. And I think a shark just bit, and you were like, oh, chomped. And it made me think that out of all the shitty shark movies out there, that there should be one called Chomped.
Chomped.
And there is not one. I looked up if there's a movie called Chomped.
Well,
so
let's make one.
Yeah, Shitty Shark film number 897, Chomped.
Oh,
and we
man.
can have Chomped 1 through 8.
You know what I thought was noteworthy?
What?
The number of times they were doing shit that I'm like, why are you doing that? That's not, like, you stop. First of all, you're running out of air. Shut up. Stop talking. It takes up more air. Right? At one point, they're banging on the cage, and I know you said that it's sort of justified because you want the people to find them, but also, there are fucking sharks around. Sharks are attracted to that.
I know, and that was funny when you said that, because then I imagined you and me in that situation and just sort of like disagreeing on these moment-to-moment survival instincts.
Put that rock down.
And I'm like, but he's going the other way. Like, he doesn't see us.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's another one. Just the flashlight. They're swinging a flashlight around there all the time. It's like, you want sharks to not notice you're there?
No,
Turn the fucking flashlight
But I
off.
thought it was set up earlier that sharks can hear you from miles away or whatever they said.
They did say that, yeah.
So I didn't think like adding a flashlight into the mix. I felt like the flashlight would only help you see them, which is your only chance of surviving. They're coming at you no matter what.
I mean, I'm not a shark expert, but
Right,
I
so
definitely saw
exactly.
Jaws, and I watch Shark Week, now and again, and I know that sharks can see because they mistake surfers for seals.
I know that.
So turn off the flashlight.
And what if having your flashlight off is what got you killed in this movie?
I mean, I'd be dead.
Right. But that's a possibility.
Or I'd be dreaming.
Yeah, you just...
In this movie, we don't really know.
Doesn't matter.
One or the other.
Do you have any other things of note? Because I had one that I wanted to end on.
Yeah, let me do mine, and then you do yours, because I bet yours is better than mine.
Okay.
My real one thing of note is that Mandy Moore broke up with my favorite musician. Or maybe he broke up with her, but I like to think that she broke up with him. His name's Ryan Adams. And when she has her little emotional Stuart broke up with me scene, I was thinking, that's not acting. That's real. She's thinking about
Did Ryan Adams break up with her?
Maybe. I don't know. They broke up.
I wonder if it's based on her true story, this film.
This movie might be about their breakup.
Yeah.
But Ryan's the shark.
Uh-huh. Sure. It's like...
Hard to follow?
No, it's like I have questions for you, but it's fine. Okay, well, I clicked on, this is the last thing of note. I clicked on the director's, I was on the IMDb page, and guess what is slated next in his filmography?
48 meters down.
Yes!
Oh, no.
Did you literally just guess that?
I just guessed that. Come on.
48 meters down.
That is unacceptable.
I'm showing Tim where it says it.
I definitely remember thinking at one point when the cage is falling and the meter ticker is ticking off, I was like, it'd be really funny if they landed at 46.
Yeah.
And then like a little bit later it falls another meter and you go, oh, there it is.
Yeah, the titular line.
Like every movie has to, every bad movie has to have the title in it somehow.
This does. 47 meters. I mean,
I'm sure Executive Decision has it too.
But I want to say this sounds pretty good, Tim, and we may have to revisit this franchise.
Oh no.
I want to read the summary for everyone. Oh god. The official sequel to 47 Meters Down, the smash summer hit of 2017, 48 meters down follows 5 backpackers who go diving in a ruined underwater city and quickly learn they are not alone in the submerged caves.
Why didn't they just make that one first?
Because
they needed the Mandy Moore vehicle
to the budget
to get the branding.
Right.
I get you.
I hope she comes back.
That actually could be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it sounds cool. I feel like it's going to be like this movie, but just...
I feel like it's going to be The Descent.
Yeah, but not as good.
Which is a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Wow.
48 meters down.
Who's this director?
Johannes Roberts.
Oh, right. Oh, and I like how at the beginning it says over 47 meters down. It's like Johannes Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
47 meters down.
This is his film.
It's his. Which is a pretty intense thing to do as a director. Mm-hmm. But it's an intense shark movie, so good job, Johannes.
Yeah.
You let everybody know it's yours.
Nice touches. All right. Is that it for this film?
Yeah.
Do you have any...
I'm trying to see, did I have anything else? No. Oh, I do have one more thing.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I think the scariest part of this entire movie was? After they have their night out on the town and they end up on the beach in the morning and then they pass out in bed. Sandy feet in the bed. Terrifying. Don't put your sandy feet in the bed. You can't get that sand out of the bed. It's there forever. Every time you sweep
this
it...
This is why they got in the situation and died or nearly died.
This was the sin.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you're right.
Is because they were
wondered.
abused. They were just flaunting their sandy feet in that clean bed, not even thinking that someone was going to have to clean it, that someone would be staying it again.
I wondered what their flaw, like what their sin was, not their flaw, what their sin was. Because the sister, Kate, I don't know, her sin is she's fucking adventurous. Sounds awesome.
And Mandy Morrison she's not adventurous enough.
Yeah, well, they both die, so. Oh, no, I guess they don't. I keep thinking the dream was real.
Well, I'd love to hear if you have a recommendation.
Oh.
Can we move to that?
God, yes, we can.
All right, well, what is it?
I want the opposite of a recommendation. Do not, by in any circumstance, watch the movie, I can't remember what it's called. The Open House. The Open House, it's streaming on Netflix. I watched it because I was like, this probably isn't one that Ryan and I will watch, but like, let me check it out. It's fucking terrible. So don't waste your time.
How about something for on a positive note? Anything you have been enjoying?
God. Oh, yes. I just was turned on to a podcast called My Favorite Murder.
Me too.
Oh, nice.
That was the one I was thinking of saying.
Well, there you
that's
go.
great. My Favorite Murder. I've listened to one episode.
I think I'm 2 or 3 in.
Which one did you listen to?
I just went from the start.
Okay.
I did episode 1 and 2, and I think I got into 3.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, my friend
So
was
far, so
telling me
good.
that.
Yeah.
So wait, sorry. Say what it is. What?
It's these 2 women, Karen and I forget the other girl's name, Georgia. Karen and Georgia, and they just talk about historical murders that they find exciting, and most of them have to do with serial killers or something to that effect.
Their perspective is so much fun, though.
Yeah, because their whole setup is that they are terrified of being murdered, but this stuff just completely titillates them and not fantasize, but like excites them in like a totally weird and twisted way. It's great. Yeah, they're fun.
I loved it.
Check it out. I'm sure they'll love us for saying so.
Quick recommendation for me. I was looking at a friend's top 10 list from this last year of films, and I was reminded of one that is up there on mine, which was a horror film, Mother, Darren Aronofsky's film.
I haven't watched it yet.
Got a lot of mixed feelings, but I think is one of the best horror films of recent memory.
All right.
I thought it was so well done as far as latching onto and being about this core fear that's really personal, I feel like, or has always interested me and scared me and is strong for me, of that fear of like, what did I put it as? Like, as if that fear of like when you have let's say like a favorite piece of furniture, like that has sentimental value that's so strong you could cry about it, and then to see someone just sitting on it or like not caring about it at all, or just like, you know, they're just having a grand old time, maybe drunk, and like they put their drink down on it, and it's not like they're actually doing anything wrong, but it's just like the fact that they'll never know is just that sense of being alone in a way that just is just so just deep and terrifying, and I'd never seen done in a film so at all. Not only so well as especially
Man,
so well.
I keep meaning to watch it. I really like Aronofsky. Although Noah was not my cup of tea, but still, yeah.
This felt like
I can't find time right now to watch it, and I need to watch it.
It re-cemented him as a filmmaker for me.
Oh, good.
And Jennifer Lawrence was great, of course. Yeah, and it definitely did had this interesting like storybook quality of not quite being real that I think was probably the most off-putting thing for people as far as just being able to buy into the world.
Yeah, my understanding that it is largely just an allegory.
Yeah, and it's all... and it uses it knowingly, and it uses all well. Good. I don't know. It uses it, but not in any sort of like, oh, we're trying to be, overly smart kind of way. It's like, oh no, it's just doing it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to watch it.
I recommend Dead that one.
Cool. Do you think it should be
RecommenDEADtions?
Oh no, I was thinking, should it be past tense? Things that we recommend dead. I kind of already like RecommenDEADtions. Well, it's weird.
On previous episodes, we recommend dead.
That's right. So anytime we talk about something from an earlier episode that we recommend dead,
we put that emphasis on recommend dead. All right. Well, you can find us on the internet. My name's Ryan McDuffie. Ryan McDuffie, McDuffie.com is my portfolio site.
I'm at Tim Aslan. Like the lion, but not really.
I like your Instagram. You have
yeah, it's Tim Aslan as well.
You post some birds.
Yeah, I love crows.
Yeah,
they're everywhere. They follow me around. I see them all the time.
And so I appreciate seeing the photo and video evidence.
All my stories are crows
following you around. All right, well.
Next week.
Oh yeah, next week. What we're doing. We're going to check out another movie streaming on Netflix. It's a new one. I've heard some good RecommenDEADtions for it. A couple of friends told me to check it out. It's called The Ritual.
Yeah, I came across it yesterday. Looks cool. Maybe cool.
Great.
I hope so.
Hope we have another solid one.
Yeah. We're doing pretty well.
All right. Well, until then, I hope you watch it with us, and we'll look forward to talking to you about it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, Tim.
See ya.
Ah!